January 19th. There's no advice from the unicorn today. We're wrapping up all of the things that I covered over the last 6 days into one video, one movement. I'm also teaching or kind of sharing this as if I were teaching a live class. So I'm going to give the full amount of time and the full amount of space for you to really feel what it could feel like if you're going through this practice on your own. So I invite you to play this video and follow along with it. This is the for real full flow. I'm going to start off in crocodile pose. That was where you're laying on the mat, bringing the hands up in front of you, and then either stacking your fists and placing your forehead on the fists, or you can stack and do like a combination of your hands or one hand and one fist. What you're doing is you're elevating your head so that there's space in between the mat and your head so that you can get some good breathing in, all right? So just play around with whatever shape feels good to you. And then when you're there, just taking a nice deep breath, inhaling in through the nose, and then exhaling out. Inhale in through the nose, and then let it exhale out of your mouth. While you're in this crocodile pose, this is where real recognizes real. And this is where you're thinking about just reflecting on the events of the day. So this is a good piece of movement to do in the end of the day here to reflect. So just going through whether you're at work or at school or running errands or dealing with family or just being by yourself and dealing with yourself. Just give yourself a moment to just reflect on your day. As you're inhaling and exhaling. Just notice if there's a particular moment in the day that sticks out to you. And just bring your attention to that. Maybe think about what happened or who it involved. And then start thinking about how you felt. What's the main feeling that you would use to describe how you felt during that event? And if you're thinking about that feeling, land on that feeling. Begin to explore why you felt that way. So, was there something underlying the surface that caused you to feel angry or sad or mad or afraid? What was it? Use this crocodile pose to really zero in on that feeling and think about why it showed up for you that way in that moment. All right? Was there anything surrounding that event or that feeling that felt good for you, that helped lift you up? Really give yourself time to zero in and think about whether there was something in that moment that felt good to you. Maybe there was a lesson in it, or maybe there was just a spark where, you know what? This isn't as bad as I thought it was. What is that feeling? What is that sensation? Or was there anything that didn't feel good in that moment? So was it a feeling that wasn't so good? Zero in and just think about that and begin digging in a little deeper with each exhale to just understand why that might be. Were you disappointed? Were you angry because you were disappointed? Or maybe it was frustrated. pushing past just that initial, is it mad or sad or glad or scared, and just really thinking about the deeper sense of what happened and why. I want you to keep thinking about that main feeling that came up for you and then the circumstances surrounding it. And if you can't think of something that happened today, maybe there's something that happened recently that you're still thinking about. You can use that same question and apply it to that situation. So is there a particular situation that happened recently that is on your mind? And if so, what is the main feeling that you would use, or the main feeling word that you would use to describe how you're feeling about that situation? When you've landed on that feeling, I'd like for you to go ahead and lift your head up and then come into tabletop. So the tabletop was that hands and knees pose where you're creating a table with your back. Your hands are underneath your shoulders, and then your knees are underneath your hips. And if you have any wrist issues, you can always make a fist with your hands there, so then that way you're resting on top of your closed fist. And then if you have any knee issues, you could fold your mat. All right? You can fold your mat right there in the middle and then put your knees right on top of that. All right? So take a moment to just get into a comfortable tabletop position for yourself. And then once you're there, just center back in on those feelings, that sense of what was that main feeling that you felt in that moment that you were thinking about. Right? We're going to move through it using the Braveheart, that series of low lunges and low folds, to just open up the body and calm the nervous system as you think about that feeling, as you are giving yourself a chance to understand it, so that you can process it. So we're literally going to be processing that thing through how we're moving. So go ahead and bring up your right foot, and you're going to get into the beginning of that low lunge. And if you need to scoot the foot out, I want you to just do that so you're creating space in between the front knee and the back knee. And you're making sure that that knee, the front knee, is over the ankle. Then I'm going to take blocks or books. If you have books handy, you can use a book also, or boxes, whatever you got handy. I'm going to inhale, exhale, and lean into that Braveheart, that low lunge. Bringing the shoulders back, lifting the head up, exhaling out. Inhale. And now I'm going to move that shape backwards, sitting back on the heels, lifting up the foot. And as I'm doing that, I'm thinking about that advice about checking in on loved ones, but right now we're checking in on ourselves. Letting go of and opening up that brave heart to be okay with that feeling that came up for you. So opening up into the idea of sitting in that feeling. Inhaling and exhaling, letting go of any kind of negative feelings around that feeling that you have. So the fear or frustration about that situation, we're exhaling and letting that go. Inhale. Bravely leaning into that feeling. Inhale. Exhale, letting go of avoiding that feeling. Just letting it go. It's done. Inhale. Exhale into that, sitting into that feeling. Checking in with yourself to just see how it's resonating for you. Inhale. Exhale. letting go into that low fold. Nice. Do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale as you sink into that low lunge. Exhale. Exhale here. Inhale. Exhale into that low fold. Good. Come up and you go ahead and switch sides. So bring that low lunge back to table. Maybe give yourself a chance to sit maybe on the side here. So scooching my butt to the right. And now scooching the butt to the left. Just taking a little moment to get a nice little breather in, because that's a lot of stretching on the right side. All right. When you're ready, you're going to come back into tabletop and then scoot the left foot forward and anchor it. So making sure that that left, what's this called? The left knee is above the left ankle. And those blocks are there to support you. We're going to do that same nice series of stretching, that Braveheart 1-2 in on the left side. So nice and stable here. I'm inhaling. Exhaling, melting into that deep lunge in the front. Getting a nice stretch, remember, in the front of the quad and then in the hamstring. Good. Inhale. Exhale it out. Lifting that front foot up. Inhale. Exhale, sitting in that lunge, sitting in that idea of that feeling, just not giving it a judgment, not giving it a good or bad, just sitting with it so that we can process it. Inhale. So I got a phone call and stopped the recording. I didn't realize that. So I'm just going to wrap up what we were doing here. We were in this low fold, letting go of any fear of addressing how you're feeling. Just letting your body move through that sensation. Inhale. Exhale. Sitting down into that low lunge and into that sense of feeling the feel. Inhale. Letting go down into this low fold. Good. One more time. Inhaling. Exhaling to the low lunge. Inhale. And exhaling into this low fold. Good. Go ahead and come up. You'll come back into tabletop. Excuse me. And then from here, just lower yourself to the mat. Coming back to the mat, I'm actually going to flip over. So flip over. Laying on your back. I'm going to bring the knees in toward me by bringing the feet in toward me. And if you want, you can also put your feet on the block, because what you're basically doing is creating that neutral spine. So the advice from earlier this week was read a book an hour a week, but also be mindful of your spine, not just the book spine, but your spine. So this flat version of the neutral spine can be done on the floor, or you can do it standing up on the wall. So what I'm doing is I'm using the blocks underneath my feet to kind of push up and send the tailbone pointing downwards, so taking the curve out of the back. My back is nice and elongated on the mat. My shoulders are naturally falling back, but I'm going to point my elbows down. So point your elbows down so that it's further opening up the shoulders. And my head is also already being supported by the floor here. Taking in the sensations from the stretches we just did. But then also my mind's going back to that feeling I thought about in Crocodile pose. So let your attention come back to you. Ah! Rocky, what's your feeling? Ah! This is what happens when I try to record a flow. Sometimes he gets involved. Rocky has a feeling. I hope you have one too. Get into your mindset of your feeling. Inhaling and exhaling. And just checking back in with yourself. This time, just noticing how your gut is feeling, your heart, and your head as you are preparing to wrap this up and get off of the mat. So checking in with your gut to see how it's feeling. Do you have fuel to physically carry you through your day, the rest of your day? What type of nutrients or water do you need to get in still in order to accomplish the rest of your functions for the day? Checking in with your heart. Is it feeling energized to be able to connect with others and with yourself in the way that you would intend? Does it feel heavy or does it feel light? And can you breathe and exhale, inhaling and exhaling to create a sense of energy around the heart? And then checking in with your head. Do you have clarity and focus to be clear about the tasks that you have to complete today? And then the know-how to get them done. Do you feel like you have focus to be able to accomplish the most important, 2 to 3 things that you have to do today? And do you have the focus to hold on to the details or important moments of the day and remember them later? Checking in with yourself. You're welcome to stay in your restful, mindful position for as long as you want. I'm going to stop this video though because I'm afraid it's going to be so long, but I wanted to give the full flow